Welcome to MacroCode. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our employees app. But today I want us to do something different. So I want us to create our API that we'll be using to interact with on our mobile app. So I want us to start by creating the API. So I'll just do a Speedo.NET Core API. Then next. Then here I'll just say employee. So I'll just let me select the folder where my project is. So I'll just call this employee app API. So that is my API. So I'll just do employee app API. Then if I just proceed next, I'm going to create my API on .NET 9. So let's just do that on .NET 9. Then configure for HTTP, that is checked, enable open API support. So currently guys, on .NET 9, we actually don't have, that is Swagger, and we are actually using open API. So if we just click on create, this will automatically create our API. And we are going now to connect this to the database and ensure that we are able to interact with it. So as you can see on the program.cs file, so we now have the map open API, and we also have the builder.services.open API. And we actually even have something that was been provided for us to learn in case we need it. Then we have the weather forecast model, and we also have our controller here. So if we just launch our app, we should now be able to see the data in weather forecast. But we are going to connect this to our database so that we are able to actually use it in our employees app. So you remember the employees management system that we are building on, there is a series going on. So for those who are actually not privy to that, so we have our database that is already there. So we are going to connect that to our database. Then we will be using that particular database to interact with our mobile app. So I've just launched my API. So let me just wait and see. So if you come here, you're able to know the link. So this is my API. Let me just confirm the link. So here it is. So if I just do here, sorry, I should be copying the link here. So let me just do this. So if we do that, then you say /open API, then /v1.json. So you see that is how you are able now to access our API. So currently this is how you access the API. So you can see now our employee API, this version 1. This is our URL, that is HTTP and also HTTPS. Then you have the weather forecast endpoint. We have this get weather forecast, and you're able to get the data in JSON. So this is so we don't have currently Swagger on SP, that is on .NET 9. So we are actually using .NET 9, and we are actually utilizing Open API. So what I want us to do is I want us to actually link this to our database. So you realize that we've been interacting with our employees management system, and we have a database already set up for that. So this is our database for those who are new to this channel. So we have our database for employees management. So, and this is some of the tables that we have. We have the tables for holidays. We also have the tables for employees. We also have the tables for system codes, and we also have the tables for banks, and also SPNet roles. So we also have these tables. So we are going to connect this application, that is our API, to our database. So to do that, you need to go to our app settings.json. Then we just come here. Then we actually have a connection string. So just do connection string, and here we can actually now have our default connection. So I'll just do that. So our default connection, this is our connection to the database. I'll just stop my app. So as you can see here, I have my connection string. Then this default connection server is desktop, that is my laptop, and you can actually connect this to the server in case you have. Then that is my database, trusted connection, and also all that. So it says we are missing something here. So as you can see here, we need so let me just ensure this is closed. So we missed the closing tag. So we should ensure that this is closed, and that is how it looks. So once you have that, then we need to have something in our program.cs file. So if you come here, we need to connect this to our database. So here, I want us to do something. So I want us to introduce this. So let's just do variable, then connection string. Then here we'll say builder, then dot. So you see, it's actually giving us the option. So we get connection, then you get the default connection. But also you can do something here. So in case it is null, you can actually throw. So you can say throw. So you can say throw here. Sorry, this is throw. So let me tab. So you can see, you can throw an invalid. So let's just invalid operation exception. Then you can say connection string not found. So now this will give us the connection string. So here we need to have our builder dot services. Then we say add DB context, then application DB context, then options. We are going to say here. So let me just do like doing this. So our options, we do use SQL server, then you pass the connection string, then we close. So that is, we've done that, but we need to do something. So we need to actually add some NuGet packages. So if you right click here, so we are going to add some NuGet packages. So let's just go to NuGet packages, and we need to actually add Microsoft Entity Framework core. So we really need that for our interaction with the database. So just come to browse, then search for Microsoft Entity Framework core. Then there we go. So then install. So install that one. So I'll just install 3 items here. I'll install this. I'll also install tools. And I'll also install a SQL server. So that is it. And ensure that the versions that you're installing is actually compatible with what you have. Then I'll just install SQL server. So once I have this, then I should be good now to go. So I do that. So if we go to our program.cs, I need also to create something here. So remember we had our application DB context, and we need to do that. So here, we need to create a database connection. So I'll just come here and actually create a folder called application DB context, employee app DB context. So we can call it that way. So here we can call it data. Then I'll create another class called application DB context. So I'll just call this employee app, or we can call it, let's just call it employee app context. So once we do that, so we need to actually now connect our application to the database. So what I want us to do here, I'll just do here our DB context, and you can actually import this. So there we go. Then here I'll just do that. So you can see we have a app employee context, then DB context option, application employee DB context option. Then we have our base options. Then we now have, we should now be supplying our DB set, which now relates here to the models. So that means we need to create some folders here, and we'll be adding some models based on what we have on our main application. So here, I'll just come here and say models. So this is my folder for models. Then remember on our previous application, we have some models that we had created, but I'm going to borrow them. Then we are going to actually see how this goes along. So if I just come here and say here class, I'll add the system code. So this is one of the code. I'll also add the user activity model here. Just add the user activity. And on the user activity, we actually have some properties. So I'll just borrow what we have on our user activity. So this is what we have. So we have our application, that is user activity, application user, and also application. So all these. So what I want us to do is I want to actually borrow all the models that we have on our main application here. Then we can actually supply them here. So let me just, sorry, I think I need to do something else. So I just want to copy all of them. But I'll also show you guys what we can do to ensure that we are actually reusing some of these models. So for the case whereby we have these particular models here, and you also have it on our main application, there is a simple way to that. I'll actually show you. Instead of duplicating these models, we can actually create our API. We can actually create a class, a library, then we can reuse these particular models. So you can see the namespaces. So I'll just replace the namespace here and replace it with our current namespace, which is this, to ensure that we have. So let me just copy this here. So if I just copy this, I need to replace that particular namespace with this. And I can do that in the entire solution. So if I just replace, I'll have all my models now has been defined to actually adopt to our models in our. So if we just build this, so let's just build and address any particular errors that we have in our endpoints. So we now have all, so let's just check. So you can see here, it is saying we want, so this one we can now say employee model, and you can actually import now the model from our API models. So if we rebuild this, so let's just rebuild. We have Newtonsoft. It is requiring this particular, so where is it? So do you need this? Yeah, I think let's just import it. So I'll just import this. Go to the NuGet packages, then just add this as a NuGet package, search it here. Then we are able to do this. So for those who need the source code for the employees management, so you can actually get the link down below, because we are actually basing our app on that particular solution. So these are some of the models that we have, but we'll be going one by one so that you don't get actually lost. So here we now have the employee, but I'll also borrow some of the things that we have done on our main application to ensure that we have everything in place. So I'll just copy what we have here. So currently we have the employees. I can also do here system code detail, and this will be system code details. Then you can also do a system code. So I'll just do system code, and this is system codes. So once you do that, you need to register this in our program.cs. So remember we had done that. So I'll just now import this, and I'll also import our NuGet that is now using SQL Server. So we now have this connected to our application. So what we need to do is we need now to ensure that we have our API up and running, and we should be able to generate even the controllers. So I'll just go back here, and I can generate now a controller then API, then API controller with actions. Then I choose my country, then employee context, then we have our, so it should now able to generate for us the code. So let's just see how that goes along. So we will be doing this for all the endpoints and ensure that you are now able to see those particular endpoints and you can test them using Postman before actually going to link that to our mobile app. So you can see now we have our controllers, countries controller, and we have the get country, we have the put country. So if we launch this, we should now be able to see our API. And remember, we've introduced Swagger in our API now. So we should now be able to use to see that. So here we can do here Swagger. So if we just do that, then we should now be able to see our employee app. So you can see now we have our countries and the countries, you can get the countries, you can put, get, update, and delete. So if we just say get, should be able to pull the data that you already have in our database. So let's just see. So what is wrong there? So it is telling us invalid object name country. Sure. So if you come to our application DB context, we had not added country so we need to do here country. So we'll just do here country, then we can do here countries. So I'll just launch the app again. So ensure that the tables that you are naming there is what you already have in our employees management system table. So you see, this is what we have. So you're just building an API for our countries, for employees management system. So if we do that, then you see here it says invalid object name country. So yes, so let's just remove this. So I'll just delete the controller again, and we can regenerate it. So it will now be able to check the table name. So if I just do that, I come back here and say country and add it. So it will generate the controller again with now the correct table names. So our table names is actually in plural. As you can see, we have these as countries. So let's see. So you see, it has actually generated, and now we have these as countries. So if we launch this, we should now be able to see our API. If we say now execute, we should get the data in. So it says invalid object name country. So if we come here, go here, so you say this is yes, we should remove this. Sorry. So if we launch that, we should now be able to see our countries. So let's just execute, and we should now be able to see the countries. So you see here, we now have our countries, ID, code, name, created by, and we actually have 4 of them. If you go to the database, we have 4 of them. So I think that is it for today. I want us to leave it there. So this is just our endpoint for now. What we are going to use it on our mobile app. So if you're new to this channel and you're following this series, please consider subscribing, like the video, comment down below. And in case you need the source code, you can claim the source code using the link down below. That is it, and see you in our next episode. Bye.